Good morning, Academy 55. It's Friday, the 23rd of August. It's now 6 minutes to 8 in the morning. David Kahn here, taking you through the Academy 55 strategy with the indicators on the EUR USD on the 1 minute time frame. So before we carry on, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Okay, so here is how to use our indicators. First, we go to our MT4 or MT5. Make sure you've got the trade assistant running and you've got the risk to reward in purple. So you change it to purple, the lot calc in purple, and you've got that all important 1% risk there. Also, you've got your MT4 template, your Academy 55 template running in the background, and when you want to place a trade, you put it on lines, and then you can reverse it here, make sure all that good stuff works. And I like to keep 2 pips away before you enter the buy. So where it says SL21, this works, by the way, this works on EUR USD. On the US 100 it'll be slightly different, but we'll explain that as when we do go on for that sort of trade. But yeah, make sure you got your risk to reward in purple, your lot calc in purple. I like to have this button here in purple in case I need to close all trades. Next, I'm going to show you how you can use the Academy 55 indicators on TradingView. So here is a quick 2-minute video to explain how the sell and the buy Academy 55 indicator works. Here we can see a sell situation on the EUR USD on the 1 minute time frame. So what we do is we wait for the trend line to go red, the volume ribbon to go red, the wave to go red, and the parabolics are above price. Wait for all those 4 conditions. Then we get the short position tool and we put the stop loss would be there because that is the closest to the entry. Making sure you're a minimum of 2 pips away from your entry minimum. Could be a bit more than that. But the green wave turns to the red there, and that is closer to the entry. Then you go for your 2 to 1, and as you can see, that one was successful. And here we have the same situation, but for a buyer alert. So you get your buy alert. So you wait for the green trend line, the green volume ribbon, and the green wave. So all things are correct there. So you get your long position tool. Your stop loss goes there because that is the closest point to the entry. Making sure you are a minimum of 2 pips away. And your 2 to 1 is up there. So as you can see, we have a winner there. Set a sell by making sure you've got your red trend, your red volume ribbon, and your red wave, and parabolic is above price. You get into the trade there, your 2 to 1, and then here is the buy version. So the parabolic is below price. You've got your green trend line, your green volume ribbon, and your green wave, and you enter the trade there. And you get your 2 to 1. Okay, so there we go. So the time is now 1 minute to 8 o'clock. We got a sell zone. That was a previous sell zone. That's a buy zone. This is where we are at the minute on the 1 minute time frame. If I put you on a slightly higher time frame, very quickly, we got a imbalance here, so a good reason for price to go up, but we've also got imbalance here, so who knows where they're going to go. I think we've been on a highest point we've been for a while. So I think, well, the next alert I can take is a sell, and we're in the sell zone. We just passed it actually. So I'll get rid of that. That's the previous sell zone there. So we are in a sell zone because it's disappeared now. And there's the next sell zone. But there was a sell zone there. That's why I marked that up. So we are in a sell zone with the highest we've been for a while. The next alert I can take is a sell. So we will put it back on the minute time frame and await price to show to us its hand, show us what it's going to do. At the moment, we've got a mini bit of consolidation here. We've got imbalance here. We've got imbalance down there. We know price likes to respect this purple line. So this is the scenario we would be looking at. There is where the trend is and the wave, waiting for them to turn green. 2 pips away, our 2 to 1 would be down there. And indeed, we got a sell alert just happened in the sell zone. So we put our MT4 on. The sell alert hasn't actually happened on the MT4 template. Slightly different than the TradingView one because FTMO, who this broker is, they haven't got a feed on TradingView, so we've had to use another feed from a very, very similar. So the sell, I'm sure a sell will happen very, very soon if, right, so we keep 2 pips away. So SL20 means 2 pips away from entry. Have that floating. Hopefully we'll get some more downward movement. And if we do, we will get a sell alert, and then I'll be waiting for the stop loss to get down here to the trend. Actually, the trend line is on the wave as well. So both are the same, but they both need to turn red and a sell alert. And by that time, the volume would be red as well. So we are getting a bit of volume for the downward movement. Let's hope we can get a trade. Nice to see so many people on this morning. What a windy night we had. I mean, gales in August. So hardly heard of here in the UK. There we go. So we're into a bit of consolidation at the moment, which happens 80% of the time, so we shouldn't be too surprised about that. Waiting for any decisions of where they want to take price. And indeed, they might decide they want to just go in a range until like they have red flag news. And by the way, as part of your housekeeping, you should be checking MyFX book and forexfactory.com to see if there is any red flag news in the time you are going to trade. I did that previously, and there is no red flag news within this time. Official news, anyway. So hopefully we'll be clear of that. So we've gone into consolidation, and if they consider there's going to be major news later on today, and they don't really know which way to take price until that news, this can consolidate until that news. If they had information about the news they're waiting for, whether it's going to be not going to be that big anyway, no big deal, then they will not be in consolidation so much. But of course, we don't know that. All we can do is follow the footprints of what they're actually doing and act accordingly. Now the parabolic SAR is flipped, so the price is definitely going to come down here anyway. I'll put my MT4 now. The sell alert that we did have has disappeared again. And we could be acting on the 5-minute time frame. This is the next sell alert. And here is a major support and resistance line drawn up on the 4-hourly that I did for myself. And here's another one. So here's two big hurdles if you want to look at the price to get over. And on any one of those, they could sort of bounce and break down into a sell pattern, or they could sweep right through it. So this is where we are at the minute. So we would have acted on that buy at 7:25 this morning. Let's have a look. We can analyze that a bit. Put the long position tool on. You'd be waiting for the trend line to turn green. So indeed, you'll be getting around this sort of area here. Keeping your 2 pips minimum away, which is there. And as you can see, your 2 to 1 is there. And hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it's done it quite comfortably. So if you were on that trade, congratulations. All trades I take are for educational purposes only. But in this case, if you would have taken that trade there, this is definitely a watching brief for you. No more trading for you today. You've done your 2%, and congratulations, like I said, for that. But we have to wait for the next alert, which is a sell alert. And if it doesn't happen within this hour, so be it. If you want to trade later on today, come back later on and put an alert on a zone. I'll show you how to do that. As you can see, I've got I marked it up with a horizontal line. What you can do is you can right click and add alert on a horizontal ray. And you can add alert on the 5-minute. You can write in here, put a cell, write what you want, put it once per bar, and create. And then you'll get a pop-up when price gets to this area here, and then you can look for the next sell. Consequently, you can do the same on the buy zone. That's if you want to come back at a later time, if nothing happens within this hour. But we'll see. This is usually a directional hour between 8 and 9. But have they chosen their direction already? Look, by there. But London's in play now. They might have different ideas and wish to go for a... Well, everything happens in waves, what's called Elliott waves. So things like waves on the shore. Oh, right, things are happening. So I've got my MT4 already anyway. We know we're in between two sell zones. but we have to wait for the wave to turn red. And incidentally, the stop loss would have to be down where the wave is. So I'm going to make that a bit bigger. That's better. Right, so finger on button, because we're on the minute, things can happen a bit fast. But everything's green at the moment. We need it to turn red. But also it's causing these imbalances on these candles here. So we have to manage our trade accordingly and hope the volume taken for the sell is going to be long enough to get our 2%. If it's not, we put our stop loss to our entry to protect our equity at a time of your choosing. Yes, it's something you can teach. It's got to be a time of your choosing with experience and so on. But at the moment, the trend line here is pointing to like, oh, I don't know, 2:15. If you imagine a clock face, we want it at 3 o'clock. And that, like I said, that could happen within 1 or 2 candles. So we have to be focused and aware for that. The volume ribbon has just started to turn red, as you can see. But now it's coming possibly to mitigate these imbalances here, to equalize the price platform. There we are. So it's done that now. Will it continue up? But it's creating imbalance here as well. So volume is starting to kick in now. You can tell by the bigger candles. London's waking up. And they might conclude with the guys in Europe and say that we'll go on more of a buy. But like I say, that's a scenario that could be happening. Like I say, we have to trade what we see, not what we think. Still got my finger over the sell button, but although we had a little bit more volume here in this area than here, because you can tell by the size of the candles, we are still very much in a consolidatory sort of pattern. I'll have to wait and see. As traders, we are paid to wait, paid to be patient and wait for the right conditions to come to us. Time, yeah, I think I have. At the moment, I've got this is where I am for the month, nearly 8%. So I've nearly got my 10%, between 10 and 12%. Nearly got that. So the nearer, personally, the nearer I get to 10%, I get even more focused, which is wrong. I should be the same. I'm trying to teach you guys and to be like a robot, really, taking emotion out of the equation, treating loss, a 1% loss, exactly the same way as a 2% gain, but we're human. And that is if you're a passionate person, and I consider myself to be a bit of a passionate person, you know, you can't help but feel anxieties and stuff like that. But the goal is to try sort of treat those two the same. You know, 1% loss. Oh well, never mind. And a 2% loss. Oh great, okay, but don't get too enthused by it. Recognize it's all part of the process. And keep an eye on the bigger picture, the end goal for a month, the end goal for a week or whatever, even the end goal for a day. Just keep an eye on it and look at the bigger picture. And try and become as emotionless as you can, but at the same time, relaxed in what you are doing. That's what I'm trying to install here, because that's the way to sort of do it. Right, okay, so got a sell alert just flashed, but we still got the green trend line. Although it is coming down slower and slower, the wave has just started to turn red. All these have been mitigated. I like that scenario a bit better because they've been equalized now, those candles there in balance. So that's good. But now I'm waiting for the stop loss to be level with there. And by that time, I'm sure the sell alert will be back. And then we could be in for a sell. Right, okay, so I'm in for the sell. I'm 2 pips away. Have I given it enough room? We will see. We have a little bit of imbalance here, but hopefully we will carry on with this volume. But like I said before, if it takes me out for 1%, no big deal, really isn't. Let's have a look and see where we are on the. So this is where I'm at. There we go. So that's where I'm at on TradingView. I'll put that up there, I think. Move that over there. Move that over there like that so we can see both scenarios. Now, hopefully we'll have enough volume push to reach our target of 2%. But bearing in mind the purple line's there, so if we do get to there, I may wish to put my stop loss to my entry, considering an either a bounce or a break scenario, if we get that far. But again, superstitious and all that. Try not to be, but and talk about events. But if we do get that far, that's where I'll be protecting my equity by doing that. We have a way to go yet. We will see. Looking at the our Facebook group, it's nice to see um, people posting, having successes this week. Always pleasant to see that, and hopefully we'll get a few more next week, or maybe even today. Who knows? But keep them coming in. It's nice, really good, nice to see, and it also encourages others. There's others watching, and they may be a bit more behind in their journey than you are, and gives them a little bit of encouragement and to keep on going. So, so thanks for those people who are already contributing, putting screenshots in and stuff like that. We love to see those. Right, we have a bit of a, like I said, we have a bit of imbalance here. See, that imbalance on there was already taken out by that wick there, but we got imbalance here and a little bit of imbalance here. But I'm hoping that that is so small that they'll take that out later before they make another move. Because, but you know, it is what it is. It doesn't matter what I think. This is the thing. Price will do what it's going to do. That's why we act on what we see, not what we think. These candles going right down are nice to see, but they do form imbalances that need to be filled at some stage. All we'd like to see really is enough. See, it's touched that now, so I'm going to bring my stop loss. I'm going to take my stop loss nearly to my entry, but there's imbalance there. So I'm recognizing if I put my stop loss to my entry, recognizing that the price could shoot up here to fill that imbalance before we finish the move. So, but if it does that and then continue and has an obligation to carry on down, then if price comes up to fill out that imbalance, which I know it will at some stage, I'm out of harm's way there, But of course, if it carries on up, then I've lost 0.4% at the moment. Obviously, if it goes reaches past this purple line and carries on down, I've got my 2%, which is really good. But I know at some stage price has to come here to fill out that imbalance. I'm hoping it's going to do it after it's got to the 2%. But just in case, if it intends to come up here to fill out that imbalance and then carry on down, I'm out of harm's way. But obviously, if it carries on up, then I will have reduced my risk. I'm at 0.4%, just over under 0.5% risk. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's going to do what it's going to do. In actual fact, I'm more inclined to go back to that scenario I was to previous. I'm more inclined to go to change my mind really and go back to my full 1%, just in case it wants to come up here to take out these imbalances again. But obviously hoping all the time that it's going to have another final 2 or 3 pip push to get my 2% down here. And like I always say, at this juncture, it's always kind of best to go and put the kettle on, have a cup of coffee, cup of tea, walk away from the screen, because you watching this like this doesn't price action doesn't care what you think. Doesn't watch you praying. If you pray, you pray for a 2%, it doesn't watch you pray. I don't think it's religious like that. And now we've gone into a little bit more consolidation. Because we were above the purple line, so which is a buy bias. Are they now changing direction? Well, if they go below the purple line for 4 or 5 candles, then maybe they have changed direction. Oh, that's good. We've gone through the purple line a little bit, but it's so minuscule the volume that it's not hardly mentioning really, but it's a good start. Right, I think at this juncture I'm going to put my stop loss to my entry, or yeah, just above where the imbalance is there. And hopefully we'll get our 2%. Just a final little push would be nice. I'm going to go there. And there we go. As you can see, a successful trade, which is very nice to see. There we go. That's a nice 2%. Sort of textbook really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the chat open in case anybody's got any questions about what they just seen. Only questions about this trade or what happened this morning, please. So I'll stay on for another 4 or 5 minutes. Paul's iPhone, nice way to end the week. Yeah, very pleasing. Great. And that, of course, on my so what I can do now, I'll do this. I'll bring this over here and on my journal, which you can see in the back office, what I'll do is I've already got it marked out on TradingView, so I can copy the link, open my journal up again, and put the link in there. So people looking at my journal, the idea is that they can actually see it. Sell, it won. %. It was on the EUR/USD between 8 and 9 this morning, and the date was not Thursday. Little tip, if you click on that, double click, a calendar comes up and it's on the Friday. So the 23rd. So it says Friday the 20th. We didn't trade yesterday because of all that red flag news. And now I am tantalizingly close, 9.9%. So I'm tantalizingly close to my goal. We've got some more in chat. Let's have a look. Let's start at the top. Don says, nice 2% again. Congratulations, Don. Debbie, lovely little trade, 2% here. Thanks, Steve, for updating my indicators. Yeah, Steve does a great work answering all your admin questions and all that. Ian Orford says, great trade, David. I was done at 6. Done at 6. 750 with a buy. Okay. Steve, I noticed that you entered the trade before the trend line turned red. Why was that, please? Right, hang on. Before the trend line turned right. Okay. Yeah, well, as you can appreciate, Steve, things happen very, very quickly. And it was at 3 o'clock, and I knew that it was either in the process of turning red, because usually that trend line is the last thing to change. So I was, what was I? Yeah, I was actually, yeah, it was 3 minutes before it turned red. But yeah, so technically, yeah, you're right. Would have got in there. I would have kept it 2 pips away. You would have got in that on that candle somewhere. So let's say you got it at the end of the candle. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. You you would still would have got you 2% anyway. But I was in anticipation of that turning red at any time, and with everything else going on, sometimes it's hard to keep track of everything. So don't see your zone indicator lines on your 1 minute. Yeah, well, there they are there, Tony. That's the buy and that's the sell. Let's go to the 5 minutes. It's just I didn't have this the TradingView screen scrunched up enough to do that. So let's just check. See, there we go. And another buy zone has come in here actually. So now we're in a buy zone. But originally, there we go. That's the two that he was talking about. It's just that I had it wider so you couldn't actually see it. Um, brilliant on your 2%. What were your fees? Not getting into that, Raj. And it doesn't make any difference to you anyway, because everybody's going to be different. Veronica, got it, Vab. Okay. Ian Orford says that should have said 750. Okay. Uh, Steve said, thanks, David. I waited, but I got the 2% anyway. So congratulations, everybody. All I can say at this juncture is have a great weekend. And we'll come back again next week. Have a lovely weekend. Have a great day. No more trading for anybody. By the way, let me just reiterate, these are for educational purposes only. I'm not asking people to copy my trades, but I'd be foolish to think that people didn't. You're an adult. You do what you do. I do me. And with that being said, guys, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Please do not trade anymore today. You've got your 2%. Be happy with that. And we'll come back again next week. So thanks everybody for being here and speak to you soon. Cheers for now. Bye.